Hello everyone and assalamu alaikum all. I am your host AI Wala and I am student and interview captain at Rehan School Online Academy. So welcome back to another amazing episode of my podcast. My podcast is Fahal's Journey Talk where I discuss or where I talk on different life journeys of my guests. So as well as today Mr. Andre Lassiter joined me. So let me tell you a bit about himself. He is a podcaster. He is an entrepreneur, and he is also managing some businesses. So he have around 20 years of experience he have on this fields. So let's start our conversation, and I can't wait to start our conversation to explore his life journey. So hello, Mr. Ender, how are you?
Hello, Fahad. How are you? Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much. I am fine. So, can you please introduce yourself so the audience will get to know you more better?
Sure, for sure. So I'm Andre Lassiter, one of the founders of MS3 IT. The reason we call it MS3 IT is because it's quite a bit of mouthful to say the entire company name, right? So if you look up there, it's managed systems, services, and solutions, and that's pretty much what we do in a nutshell, right? We manage, you know, systems for companies, their services, as well as provide solutions to problems that several businesses face, right? Like, yeah, but we'll dive into that a little bit later.
Yeah, amazing. So, okay, what was the pivotal moment or turning point in your career that shaped your professional path?
For sure, for sure. So the pivotal point, I'll say, I went to college or university, depending upon where you're watching this from, is what it would be called, right? But it's yeah, I went there, started out in computer science, and I found out that I didn't necessarily want to be a programmer or a developer, right? And that's what computer science was typically about in those days, anyway. And um, yeah, so I said, okay, well, let's figure out another path. I enjoy business, so I pivoted and ended up majoring in textile and apparel management, which the curriculum was primarily about management, which those are carryover skills, right? So you can take yes, management of textiles, but general management for business and business principles, and that taught me a lot there. So I took that. Never looked back after I graduated. I actually went directly into IT. Um, started from the help desk, desktop support roles, and moved up from there right to systems administration, networking, all the way to cybersecurity, and ended up becoming a program manager and running cybersecurity program for a large company here in the United States. But all that to say, that was great. That's my foundation. I'm an IT guy, yes, but I'm also an entrepreneur, right? That's why we're here. Um, so during the process of 9 to 5 life, um, as an IT guy, I had my hand involved in several businesses. My wife and I uh, have dealt in deal in real estate. In addition to that, we had some trucking with some partners as well. In addition to that, we owned a U break I fix, and that was, I'll say, probably our major jumping point, right? Because when you sign into a franchise, things are a little bit different. So it taught us a lot. Um, it taught us uh, several things about you know, understanding the client better,
Yep.
marketing, because in certain industries you don't necessarily have to do as much of that. But when you're in retail, you understand marketing, you understand what the client needs, your brand voice, all that good stuff, your customer journey, uh, and how to manage your team, which carried over from being an IT guy because we're process driven, right? We understand everything needs a process, things have to be in order and in alignment. But all of those things kind of molded me, for my journey, right? And we're here today. We're able to start, our managed service provider company, MS3IT, right? And that essentially is using AI and automation primarily to help companies build and grow and manage their processes better, and give their clients what they need on an these days an instant basis, without having as much manpower, but not necessarily cutting manpower. Is more of repurposing manpower to be able to drive business versus having to do the mundane tasks, right?
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. So, how many time ago, or how many months ago, you have started your own podcast program?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So as far as podcasting, that was honestly earlier this year. I believe January or so. It was in the works, right? We started to speak about it, and it was like, okay, great. Uh, we've got several people that we can interview, several uh, heavy hitters, if you will, in different industries, and different perspectives about business, about life, just speaking about the journey. Um, and it's like, okay, well, let's just seriously consider doing a podcast. We did, and things are good, right? So that's yeah.
Okay. So, your podcast is about business.
For sure, for sure. It's a blend, right? So it's more of the AI journey. So we talk to thought leaders and business professionals to learn more about their industry, to learn some of their pain points, and how AI and automations can help solve them. But in addition to that, we get to know the people as well, right? So what makes you tick? Kind of like we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Where's your journey? Where did you come from? Because it's easy to see that CEO
Yeah.
as what they are now, but learning their journey and how they got there is the intriguing part that most people want to know.
Okay. Amazing. So, as an IT guy, I have a question for you. That you mentioned that you're also an IT guy. So, what
Mhm.
is the difference between AI and IT? Means artificial intelligence and information technology. Are they connected with each other?
That's $1 million question. That's it depends on how you look at it, because technically, yes. Well, as you know, machine learning and AI and all that good stuff is backplaying by IT infrastructures. But for the typical, let's see if we can boil that down, right? So that most people can understand it. Because you're an IT guy, and you understand it. But typically, IT will be, your uh, your servers, your routers, your switching, your network infrastructure, some help desk support, those types of things, and AI and machine learning and automation, all that good stuff is primarily software driven. Um, so it's more of development, if I'll say that, right? If it's more on the development side of the house. So if you're heavy into development, heavy into processes, then you'll stick more to the AI side if
Yeah.
that's something that interests you, versus the hardware side and the server and network administration and yeah, the typical office enterprise setups.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, amazing. What current projects are you working on, and what excites you most about them?
Yeah. So I'll give an example. I'll talk around one because we're in talks, and I can't give too much detail about it. But we're working with a major worldwide healthcare company to, let's see how we'll say that. We'll say we're working with them actually to revolutionize how they're doing logistics. They have they have to take into account lots of data when shipping, right? And they're looking to potentially scale down their costs because, if you're over engineering, you can take back some of that and only, you know, pack how you need,
Yeah,
to meet the thresholds that you need. So if it's over engineered, that's tons of money that goes down the drain, just in shipping alone. Not to mention other pieces of the puzzle, and this can apply to several businesses, right? But what we're doing is taking their data, their analytics, utilizing AI to determine the best way based on historical data from years back, including current conditions and future conditions, kind of analyze all that good stuff and say, okay, well, we should, use these materials instead of these over here. That can be a cost reduction of this amount, and it'll save you this much money, right? And just figuring that out, working through the steps to make that happen. And I'll tell you another example on the other side of things. We talked about physical health, but this is more mental health. We're working on a project. Um, there's suicide prevention because worldwide, I'm sure suicide is something that we need to stop, right, as much as possible. And a large part of that is mental health, and that hits home. Um, Mental health is big for me because I've known people that have taken their lives due to mental health issues and just not being able to talk and get it out there, or have a communication with anyone that they
yeah,
feel understands. So with that, we're taking on a project to assist with a suicide prevention application, and we're utilizing uh, some AI to, again, right, figure out the data, and say, hey, these things are not normal for your baseline. Let's reach out to someone, or you know boom, it's time. Red button, press the red button. You got to call somebody right now because your levels are a little bit off. Or hey, you need to take a minute, right? Because your heart rate's up. Is that the third, whatever the cocktail of factors is, um,
yeah,
making sure that that is in play. And those are on the higher scale. You know what I mean? They're the higher level things that we're doing, but those are really cool projects. But on the day to day, a lot of what we do is change, um, small and medium businesses' lives, right? So we've got some cool voice AI. By the way, if you guys want to try it out, feel free. It's a U.S. number, so that may play into it, but feel free to call 919, excuse me, +1 for the US, 919 891 6727, and give it a try if you like, or you can visit our site and try out ms3it.com, and we have a demo as well, right, where you can try out the chat widget. Um, it's a live chat, but it's driven by AI. So we help a lot of companies with that also, right? It's um, let's say somebody goes to your website, you can have a 24/7 live assistant that, sells your product or books calls for you, or just general customer service and answers questions and keeps your clients happy, right? Or your potential clients. All sorts of things, we've built and, help companies with. And this, you find drives revenue, which everybody's in business to drive revenue, right? So
yeah.
it's a fast path to do that.
Okay, it is really amazing. Your projects are really appreciated. I really appreciate on your all the projects that you are doing, including your health and for your which project you are doing for mental health and well-being health. So my next question is that how do you stay inspired and motivated in your work, especially when facing challenges?
For sure. For sure. Challenges are a part of the game, right? So anytime I'm not even going to say in business, in life is challenging. It's always something new. It seems like every day or every minute of the day, right? I know you can
Yeah,
attest to that, Pod, right? You're
yeah,
young, but I can tell that you've got some experience in life due to the fact that we're even talking right now. So it's but yeah, I'd say, my mentor, Erica, actually, Bossed Up Academy, by the way, if anybody needs a good mentor, check her out. But she's awesome, and she uh, encourages us to, read, right, read books for mindset as well as lessons. So reading audiobooks, podcasts, um, you know, church for me, religion, um, keeps you whatever that may be, right? Like, I'm not here for that whole conversation, but that's a lifestyle and a way of things for me as well. And yeah, just I'd say, consistently feeding yourself, because your diet is not just what you physically eat, is what you consume, um, from an entertainment perspective, from social media to uh, websites to TV or whatever your choice is. So always feeding in, positive things and things that are going to help you progress, right? And not just there's time for trash and, a little downtime, but for the most part, you have to keep yourself encouraged and keep yourself motivated by feeding you those things, and looking to people that are way beyond where you are, right, in your journey, um and just being inspired by them, like, oh man, okay, so we'll use round numbers. If I made $10 this month, they're making $10 million this month. It's not a jealousy or I want what you have thing. It's a, oh, that's possible, let me find out how to get there, and that keeps me going, right?
yeah.
Indeed.
It happens with a lot of people. Many people, like, they saw the pupils and they try to also get the thing that they other people have. So this is really amazing. So how much artificial intelligence is important in this era? Because you can understand, because you are an IT guy. So
Mhm.
how much is important to learn about AI, artificial intelligence, in this era?
For sure. I would say that it's extremely important these days because it's going to be the way of the world, right? I'm sure you've heard it before. Your audience has heard it before. Um, it's essentially, artificial intelligence has been out a long time. ChatGPT exploded it on the scene, and generative AI and all that good stuff has been um, the new hot topic, and it will continue to be, as we learn how to make the hardware more efficient to keep up with what the software can do. You're going to see it doing all types of things, and if you're able to understand it, if you're a technical person, if you're able to develop it and understand, how to speak to these LLMs, or even how to program, um, the underlying AI, then you'll be great. But the big thing for me is people understanding that, you know, AI doesn't just magically resolve everything. There's data bias, there's all sorts of things. So especially the public
Yeah,
models, they're learning about what's on the internet. So there's trash on the internet. It's going to give you trash. So you still have to fact check and, consider your data sources, and all sorts of bias. Like, Fad, we're in two different countries, and if the language model is learning that your country does terrible things, and then the language model is learning that my country does terrible things, if
yeah,
you ask it a certain question, it's going to tell you, oh, your country's terrible because it does X, Y, and Z, if there's enough data about it, which may not be true, right? And it probably isn't, but that's what people are going to take and run with. So we have to, discuss being responsible, like responsibility of AI, and what we take at face value. And I want to, get the word out there that, the chat GPTs and the Claudes of the world are great. Um, but as far as business, a lot of people don't fully understand what AI is capable of doing. And that's what we help out with, right? We consult them and let them know that, hey, we can do a lot in your business, for your business, and get you uh, a lot further than you are. Uh, but it's not just Chat GPT. It's not just, you know, talking and asking it a question and getting it to write your paper for school, right? It's
Yeah.
there's more to it than that. So, but yeah, just I said all that to say, using AI responsibly, truly understanding it, and people need to really just take some baseline courses, right? If or watch a YouTube video, um, for some trusted sources. Feel free to reach out, and I can provide some if anyone is interested and needs some, to learn more about it, because education is key. It's just like, if you were in business
Yeah.
30 years ago, email was like the new hot thing, or having a website was it. Like now it's going to be like, oh, cool. How do you use AI? All right, cool. Well, when somebody looks you up, are they able to have an instant chat with you? No. Okay. Well, we're going on to the next business. Right? Yes. Yes.
Amazing. Okay. So, what is the importance of prompt? Like how is it important? Prompt engineering, because I think prompt prompts are really a basic things in AI, because
Mhm.
ChatGPT is also require a prompt, a good and concise prompt, so then ChatGPT works well. So yeah,
No, indeed. And prompt engineering is is a hot button right now. If you're familiar with it, and well, which I know you are,
yeah,
um, if you understand how to prompt the LLMs to get the output, all about IO, right? Ins and outs. And um, if how to speak the language of the LLM to get out what you need, you're you can rule the world, right? At this point, because most people, they'll give a zero shot, or hey, I need this, and expect, okay, give me that. But as of well, maybe before a few days ago, if you gave it context and a few other things, then you would eventually get to what you need, or your wildest dreams, right? Like, come true in the prompting. Even with generative AI, such as you know Midjourney and some of the other generative tools, if you're able to prompt those and give get the images that you want. Um, but interesting thing, I don't know, you probably have seen it, that the new open AI model, the what is it, O.1 or O1, where they're requiring less information for the prompts now, because it's more intuitive, and it can actually derive more from baseline prompts, which everyone knows is going there, right? But it's it's interesting to see, and I'd love to see. The claims and the sales pitches are great, but we'll see how it works in the real world, and
yeah,
how useful it really is. I think they'll fine tune it, right? Which, excuse me, they'll fine tune it, and things will be great in the future. But just starting out, I'm always cautious about technology, just knowing the back end side of things, and um, I wouldn't deploy that new model to a client, um, to run operations immediately. You want to prove out the use cases, and step things out, efficiently, and make sure that it is the right use case for that particular model you're trying to achieve. But I love, to your point, prompt engineering, because you can ask 10 different LLMs the same question and get 10 different answers, right? Some are more
yeah,
detailed, some are less, and they're all over the place. And that's something that people don't know as well, right? ChatGPT has become the Google of the world as far as like search engines. Oh, just
Yeah.
Google it. It used to be Yahoo, Lycos, all MSN, all these others, but now just Google it. And other options are available, and enterprise options as well. I won't go into several names because we're not sponsored here, but there's there's plenty out there. Um, and it's a very, very, very cool world that we're stepping into. um, just the responsibility of those that are in charge of it. uh, Hopefully, we get some really good governance around that doesn't hinder too much, but also doesn't lead people astray.
Amazing. Okay. So in the most countries like in Pakistan, there is now the world's first AI school was now built in Pakistan. As you know that I'm also studying on that school. So
Oh.
and the educations like traditional education that is continuing from like hundred of years ago, and the education
Mhm.
that is still that is latest education in the world, like AI, artificial intelligence, AI education. So what is your opinion in that children's should educate themselves with AI, or they should continue their traditional education?
For sure. I've got a few views on that, some radical views that, um, you know, I'm sure you're familiar, right, Fahad, that there are schools out there that they don't have teachers. They're new
Yeah.
concepts. They don't have teachers, and AI is literally teaching the children. Um, that is primarily, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, but that's why I brought up the governance piece, because humans can leave things out and teach certain things as well. But if AI is teaching you, where is it pulling its data from? And what is it teaching our children or our young adults, right? Um, you can completely brainwash a generation and change the course of the world by injecting bad data, if you will. And I know that wouldn't easily happen, but there are ways to interject certain things, and it's much harder to do that if you have people teaching it. So I support a hybrid curriculum, right? So learn how to use the technology, utilize it, and find the use case and make it great, but also have that traditional, because we don't need,
Yeah.
we're technology's great. We're talking from literally other parts of the world, right? Instantly. But with that being said, that something about human interaction, like if I sat at home and my kids sat at home and just had a computer teach them, that's not the same as going to school and playing with the children or having
Yeah.
social interactions. Those skills are lost these days, and we need more of that, but just integrating the technology with it a little bit better than we're currently doing.
Okay, amazing. Really a great opinion. Thank you so much for giving such an amazing opinion. So, what trends or changes in your industry do you find most intriguing right now?
Hmm. Wow. um let's see. Every day it seems like there's a new AI application model, um, right? Because it's the wild, wild west at this point, and you know, there's always something new, greater, better, faster, stronger, right? And it's literally too much, right? We can't consume that quickly. So you have to, while all of it's great, it's to me, it's being a good business person, being a good uh, just having common sense, right? And saying, okay, let's find
Yeah.
the great use cases for this, um, figure out what we need it for and stick to that. While there are 50 million ways to do it, we're going to pick a few and make those the best, make sure that they're the best solutions possible, especially for our clients, right? We're not going to use an experimental LLM to, run a client's business. And we're not just going to use, depends on your price point, but typically, you know, at mid market, we're not going to use just one particular LLM, right? So if it's just ChatGPT, your answers are going to be skewed and biased. Like we have a product that's essentially the reports that you get from McKinsey. We're able to do those in a fraction of the time at that level of detail for companies when they want, certain prospectus and all the info about their company, marketing plans, all sorts of things, all utilizing AI. But you draw that from several different LLMs and several different sources, and you reach out and grab the data from the proper
Yeah.
places and make it happen. That that sort of thing. Um, if we were all over the place, had our ear on every single new thing that came out, you'd never be able to focus and say, okay, let's
Yeah.
get this done. Uh,
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. Sorry, Mr. Andre Lassiter, for having me on this show, and this was a really great conversation that I ever had. So we talked on each and everything. I think we talked on podcast, we talked on businesses, and like most of the things. So thank you so much. As we wrap up, what is the one piece of advice you would offer to our listeners who are looking to make a meaningful impact in their own fields or careers?
for sure, for sure. I would say find something that um, life's not always this. Everyone doesn't always get the opportunity to immediately
Yeah,
do something they're passionate about, and they love doing. Sometimes you do what you have to do to make it by, right? But as you do what you have to do to make it by, enjoy that every day. Find the good points in it and be happy no matter what you're doing. Find some happiness in that. And then when you get to the point where you can do what you like and enjoy and love, make the most of that. Go hard in it. Don't leave any stone left unturned. Commit to it, because commitment is something that's sorely lacking these days from most people.
yeah,
So commitment looks like to me, it's, yeah, I want to be the greatest, right? Even if you don't get there, if you commit to the process, you're a whole lot higher than you would have halfway did. So do it anyway, whether you love it or not. If you have to do it, get to the point where you get to do some what you want and commit to that process of being great at it and become the greatest. And let's hear about you and read about you and your successes, right? Like Fahad is going to do, right?
thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is your love and your support and appreciation for me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again for giving as you give your precious time for me. So thank you so much, viewers, for watching us. Hope you like this conversation. So inshallah, meet you soon with another amazing podcast with another amazing guest on my show. Till then, stay peace and take care of yourself. Bye bye. Allah Hafiz.
Bye bye. Thanks, guys.